Well, it's so nice to see the top half of all of your faces. Like Julie said, my name is Dana. I am new to Chattanooga and advising for the majors that you mentioned. My professional background is actually based in mental health. So a lot of the presentations I do have kind of a foundation of good mental health practices as well. Self-care, how to take care of yourself. So this presentation includes some of that, just so that you know. So if you look at your first page here, it's really hard to know how to manage our time well if we don't know what our priorities are. And some of you might have a good idea of what your priorities are. You're here in class today, so obviously going to class is important to everyone here. But we're going to do a little life values assessment before we move on to the time management piece, so that we can learn how to manage our time based on what we value in life.
I left mine in the back of the room.
So this sheet is a little backwards, but you're going to actually start on the bottom here. And you'll see a list of 21 items. And you are going to circle whichever one of these items is more important to you at this point in your life. So you guys, as freshmen in college, if you look at this list, just go through it and circle the things that are more important to you. And you guys are taking these home, you're keeping these. So you can mark them up, you can do whatever you need to do.
And then that way I can put it into Canvas for anyone who is joining.
Yes, it's on the other side, so I'll also email it to you so that you have it up together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we can see.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah, yes.
Do we know whether the stuff we use everything now for the group chapter?
After one day they're not sent, but then if you could do it, that would do.
It's not probably whatever.
Hmm.
I forgot about the newsletter stuff that we did.
That's perfect, yeah, especially when we're talking about reflections.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
I'm doing for research. Work with the home.
So you'll see it, I can see some people are done with the bottom half. After that, you're gonna add up, say, we'll just start with number one, family or home and lifestyle. Let's say that you circled family. You're gonna go through and count how many times you circled family, and then put that number next to the family category at the top. And you'll do that with all the items up at the top there. as you could have probably deduced from doing this, the number next to the item that is the highest is your biggest priority in life right now, or freshman activity. And they kind of go in order. So the one with the least amount of marks is something that is less of a priority to you right now. So what was it like filling this out? Good, bad, in between? Huh? What was it like filling this out? It was easy. Okay. So it wasn't hard to choose between the items at the bottom? That's a good sign. That means that a lot of you probably have your priorities somewhat in check already. And so what we're going to do now is actually based on your answers on this page. You flip it over to the next page. So I created just a short list of items that would be pertinent to all of you. It's kind of the typical items of a freshman in college, right? So grocery shopping, working, sleeping, socializing, all these things. And so you can add more items to this list that is specific to you if you're involved in clubs, if you have other things that are not on here. And what you're going to do is sort these items into these four columns. So the first column is it must be done, should be done, can wait to be done later, and skip completely. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to work on that. And if some of these don't apply to you, like say you just don't do your laundry, you throw your clothes out after you're done with them, you can skip that item. like most people are finishing up. So everyone's columns should be identical, right? Maybe, maybe not though, right? Probably not, yes, exactly. Because everybody's schedules are different, everybody's priorities are different. So what you may have in skip completely, someone else might have in must be done. So as we kind of talk about this, it's okay that all of your columns are probably different. So let's see. What are some items that you guys had in must be done? You can just shout them out. Work. Sleep, yes. People always put that in completely. So I'm glad that you cited it. Yes, it should be done, but shower, hygiene, laundry. Okay, what are some items you have that should be done? Sleep, study, okay. What do you think? Fitness, okay. Definitely grocery. Okay, and what about can wait to be done later? We gotta get that move to must be done. That was really important. Okay. What do you think? Go the job. Okay. Okay. And what about skip completely? Okay. Go to you. That one sounds a little necessary. So, okay. Ideally, all the items that you put in must be done should correlate with whatever your number one priority on the page is. Right? So if it's college, if college was your number one item, then all of these items related to college should be either it must be done or should be done, probably. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So this obviously is not a scientific, these aren't scientific results. This is just meant to show you where your priorities lie right now in your life. They can and probably should change over time. Things that are important to you now might not be as important to you in a couple of years, and vice versa. So this is just sort of a snapshot of who you guys are today. Okay. When I say self-care, what do you guys, what does that mean to you guys? Does it mean anything? You can just shout it out. Take care of yourself. Okay. Anybody else? Have you heard that term before? Yes. That's good. A lot of times people say no. That's at least good. So you could be the best person at managing your time. You can have all your life values in alignment with how you're managing your time. But if you don't have a good self-care routine, you can still fail. Because you didn't get any sleep. That's my big one is sleep, right? Or you're so stressed out that you don't go to class, right? So self-care is it's a key piece to all of this, even if it's not something that you might think about normally. So the last page here, this is actually a self-care assessment I use with all of my patients. So it's broken down into 4 categories: emotional, spiritual, physical, and psychological. Again, you guys will all have different answers on this because what works for one person doesn't work for everybody. So you'll go through here and you'll put a check mark next to some of the items that you already do and circle or highlight, however you want to do it, some items that you'd be willing to try. Okay, so just a quick note, when I say self-care, that is not the same thing as therapy or mental health counseling. Listening to music or taking your dog for a walk or going for a run, like those items are not meant to be things that will fix your whole life, right? But they're small things that over time research has shown reduce your overall stress levels and improve your overall well-being. And that's the part I'm talking about when it comes to succeeding in college and succeeding at full-time management. If your foundation has to be solid for you to even think about succeeding and anything really, not just college, but work, personal lives, everything like that. If you go through this list and you think that you might be interested in mental health counseling, you can contact me. You guys have resources on campus. For that, I can't be your counselor because I work here, but if you guys think you might want that, you can always email me. Okay, so was there anything on this list that was surprising as a self-care item? No. Did anyone have a category that they had a whole bunch that they're already doing? Which one was it? Okay. So you got physical self-care, that's valid for you. Is there a category that you didn't have many more? That's the one that everyone says usually. When I did this myself, that was the one that I had the least amount of marks in as well. So if you have a category that you didn't circle a lot or you didn't check mark a lot, it doesn't mean that you're terrible with self-care, right? It just means that category might not be for you. Emotional self-care and psychological self-care are very important. So did anyone circle items that they might be willing to try in those two categories?
Yeah, it's a good development skill.
Okay, very cool. What did you say? Sitting in silence, mindfulness. How many of you have heard of that? Mindfulness and contemplative practices, meditation. It's good for everything. If you look at some of the research on sitting in silence and participating in just simple 5-minute exercises where you quiet your mind, it can help so much with stress reduction. Let's see. So I sent your professor a list of self-care ideas. I would have printed it, but there's a bunch of hyperlinks on it that you can click on that will take you to the website. And it's just an idea it's just ideas of things you can do for self-care. So you should try to be doing something every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, in a self-care related. And this is a great start. This is also backed by clinical research. All of these things are clinically researched in reducing stress. So it's not just some list that like I came up with in my head. 101.
All of those cameras.
This is the first one.
Yeah, emotional catharsis is very good. Yeah. So any questions on any of this? Any thoughts? Do you guys see how self-care is important to time management? Because that's the piece that I really would like to take away from this. Is the foundation has to be great. If you're not sleeping well, if you're so stressed out that you're skipping class or not making family a priority or whatever it was on your list, these things can help with that. What did you say? Yeah. Noticing your breath is a part of meditation. Okay, so that's all I got. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments, or? And I remember there's 101, so what, if one doesn't fit, then I don't think I'm gonna try these, but Stacy, I love the page, so I mean, there's a 4 pages worth of ideas here, so I'm looking forward to the pages as well. So let's let Ms. Moody know how much we appreciate it.